and welcome. You're watching Medically Speaking, and I am Meenakshi Upreti. Now, this is the time when COVID cases are at an all-time low. But there is a big worry for parents. As students, their children, their wards have started finally going back to schools. Is it a good decision? Could it increase the spread of COVID? I've spoken about Zero Survey says that 90% Delhi are B. So, welcome to our show. Dr. Neeraj Nishchal, he is from the internal medicine of AIIMS. Dr. Krishna Chuk, he is from the pediatric department at the Fortis Hospital. Dr. Anil Gulati also with us, pediatric department from Max Smart Hospital. These are, of course, the top doctors, experts, really who will help decode all about COVID related to children and answer all the fears, all the queries which we are getting from parents. I'm going to start with Dr. Neeraj Nishchal. Sir, first of all, I started the program talking about the fear in the mind of parents. What would you like to tell those who are still holding off sending their children from school? Because end of the day, the fear of COVID still lurks in the back of our mind, even though cases are at an all-time low, isn't it, sir?
See, COVID, we have been dealing for almost last 2 years, and it's still an enigma for us. We are learning every day. But one thing we have realized that this COVID-19 is going to stay with us. It's not going to go away so soon. So we have to find a way to coexist with this virus. So the only thing which has not started yet is the schools of the children, which is something which we have never imagined. The most important thing of life has got least priority. But at the same time, of course, everybody is worried about the safety of the children. But what we have realized over last 2-3 months, when cases have come down, children are going everywhere, whether it's mall, picnic, trips, everywhere, going to their friend house, playing in the park. But the only place where they are not going is schools, with the fear that they will get infected, which I feel is totally wrong. The cases are all-time low. Of course, the risk in school or if they are going out of their house is almost similar. It's not going to increase if you are going at unknown place versus your school. Definitely, school can be better controlled as sending that child to school, or if somebody in the house is sick, may have COVID-19, then please don't send your child to school. So we have to find a way. We cannot keep our children away from school for a longer period now. And as far as Zero Survey and other thing is concerned, even during prior to second wave, we thought we have already controlled this disease.
Yes.
But we were wrong. So we have to take it day by day. It cannot be a black and white solution, but I feel this is the right time to open school with all precaution in place.
Right, but Dr. Chuk, do come into this conversation here, sir. As the principal director, you've worked with Fortis, you've dealt with a large number of cases of children who had caught COVID earlier also. We've had a discussion on it, and I'm sure you remember we had parents who even got very aggressive, who were very, very worried in our earlier discussions during our programs, because they felt that when they take their children out to picnic, as Dr. Nishchal said, they can impose and force their children to wear masks, whereas perhaps in school they cannot keep an eye on their children mingle with each other. It's very difficult to get them to follow the protocols. Given that fear in mind, would you agree with the line of thought which Dr. Nishchal is taking, and would you like to give the same message to parents?
Well, when it comes to going to school, there are differences compared to going to a mall or a picnic or a friend's place or a small gathering. In the school, children will be with each other for several hours, maybe 3, 4, 6, depending on various factors, and the same children. And in a comparatively closed space, classrooms are not huge big these days. So spread from one to other is possible, probably slightly more than what it would be in other places where the contact with each other is shorter and at a shorter, with a minor contacts, or what we can say, contact which is not close enough. But when there are close contacts, but the point that has been made is that most children have not suffered very serious disease in the past. So we can expect that even if they contract the disease, they will not be having a severe disease. But still, when they come back home, they can bring the disease or the virus and pass it on to their, let's say, grandparents who may be having comorbid conditions. And in them, it may become important. But there also we are being told that by the Sero surveys that something like 90% have developed.
Surveys, as Dr. Nishchal also said, Dr. Chugh, I don't know how reliable they are. And there is a genuine doubt really about the reliability also, because in the second wave also we had multiple, we had a CO survey which would come out saying that we are building on antibodies, and there were reports on herd immunity. All of that really did not turn out to be very true. But Dr. Gulati, what was your experience like? Perhaps tell us a little bit about the second wave. As the HOD of, pediatrics department of Max, did you see children who were infected with COVID? And as Dr. Chugh and other experts have many times emphasized on the immunity of children, can we continue depending on that? Because the belief really till date is that children do not get, most of them do not get severe COVID complications, isn't it, sir?
So I agree with Dr. Chugh, what he said and what you have quoted him as saying. So we were very fortunate as pediatricians that we didn't have to face a deluge of pediatric patients when the waves were going on. And we didn't get them tested also when the whole family was suffering. Now when they come to us for some other reason and they have fever, we prick them, and incidentally you get their antibodies done, they are positive. So it's like a de facto vaccination. So that's one part. And I think your bigger worry is that children should not be the victims now. So I think they have been reasonably exposed in the past, and they had faced it better than the adults. So this is what impression I have. And coming to your question on second wave and the experience we had, we were really lucky, and not very many children were sick enough to warrant worries on our part.
Right. That is true, sir. And since we have right at the beginning cleared some queries of parents, because we get multiple questions, social media and everywhere, we were bombarded by questions from extremely worried parents. And that's the first part which we have cleared out. Dr. Nishchal, sir, since we are speaking about children and their inbuilt immunity, now of course the talk has shifted to vaccination. Cases are at an all-time low. Priority, of course, is vaccination. Yes, priority is to vaccinate the adult population first, but we know that Covaxin could most probably, I had interviewed Dr. Arora, N.K. Arora myself, and what we are getting to know from the government of India is that vaccination for children could start as early as March next year. Well, while, of course, for the government, it may be as early, for many parents, it means a long delay. What do you think of vaccinating children, and do you think there is a need to vaccinate our children on an urgent basis? It can go simultaneously with vaccination of the adult population.
Yes, definitely vaccination is going to be an important part, but at the same time, as Dr. Gulati just said, most of children which they are seeing, even if by chance they are taking sample, antibody is there. So what we have realized, because the patients, if this virus enters a family, it's very unlikely that the close-knit family which we have, where everybody is interacting with each other, that children are spared. And what we have realized during even second wave, which was more deadlier than the first wave, that the chances of reinfection even in those who have contacted earlier was less. So the same will apply to children as well. Luckily, they have been spared relatively by this particular virus so far. So whatever patient we saw were those children who had some comorbidity, whether it's related to some childhood leukemia or some liver-related disorder or any comorbidities. Apart from that, pure pediatric patient landing up in ICU because of COVID-19, in 18 months, we hardly saw any patient. So from that point of view, definitely they are safe, and we should try to start vaccination as soon as possible, but we should not keep our school closed thinking that we will start once everybody is vaccinated, because that is going to take time, even if we try at fast pace.
And, sir, before interviewing you, we all had spoken to a bunch of educationists and school principals also, and they also felt that the education of children, the learning process really, that has suffered a lot, and it shouldn't suffer anymore. Dr. Chugh, speaking of comorbid children, what should be the precautions they should take at this point of time, considering schools have reopened, the learning curve has suffered, and going to school really is a reality of today, even if, of course, it's with half the capacity?
Yes, it is a reality. We should be sending our children. The question is it today or it could be postponed a little more? My belief is that we could have waited for, let's say, about 2-3 weeks more. Reason being that, let's say, Diwali and such festivals which
Yes.
are celebrated in a big way where people collect and are close to each other for a length of time. So if we have to see an impact of that, probably we need to wait for another 2 weeks after Diwali festivals and the Bhai Dooj and so on. So
Right.
around 20th or 25th of November would have been a better date to open. By then we would have seen, if at all by chance, that another kind of wave or more number of cases is coming, then we would probably take more precautions, either open the schools only very partly or maybe defer
I know.
again. But 1st of November may not be the best date to my mind.
And I think you've taken discussion a very interesting point of view, sir. And Dr. Gulati and Dr. Nishchal, I'd like to take your point of view for half of schools, considering it is festive season and we had seen a major increase in COVID cases in the last festive season, right before the second wave.
See, I agree with him, because last year also, when Diwali rush was there in all the markets, then we had a lot of cases following that. So it's like being extra cautious. And if they have been in the house for 2 years, so another few weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks would not really have mattered. But what I see is now they are opening in phases. The older children first are going, and then they have warned the parents also. So everything, there is an abundance of caution. The schools are asking the parents, if you agree, you have an option, you can go online classes, or you can have a face-to-face in the classroom class. So I think the message is clear to the parents. We have to live our lives, but live with caution. We cannot stay indoors, and children certainly are under house arrest for 2 years. And I have full sympathy with the development of the children. I don't know how they would turn out to
Get
be
another
as
psychologist in the
adults.
panel, and she couldn't join last minute. But yes, psyche of children is something which is also a topic which we would have liked to touch upon. And it does affect, Dr. Nishchal, doesn't it really? The psychological setup of children also. As far as children are concerned, they need to be outdoors. They need to, of course, have outdoor activities. In fact, actually go to schools. Online education, one, not affordable for everyone in our country when we speak of rural areas. And secondly, how much children absorb just sitting in these online classrooms is also quite debatable. So given that context, what do you think? Reopening of school at this time, a good idea, or perhaps it should have been delayed a little more?
So I have slightly different opinion. I feel we have delayed the opening of school. We have lost that window when cases were much lower, and immune response, especially in elderly, because we have to think about the staff of the schools as well, because they are also at risk. So that was the best time, and I think we should start, of course, gradually. And I'm saying, I can see, because I have 2 kids, one is 6 years old and one is 4 years old. So I have been seeing what behavioral change that have happened with them over the last 2 years, staying at home. So it's very easy to say we have to wait for that ideal time, which is not going to come for next 2 years. That's for sure. These cases will come, will keep on coming. We have to understand that thing. So that ideal time can never come now. So what precaution we can take, that has to be taken. If we see there is spurt of cases, we have to immediately shut down schools. There should be no question about that. But at the same time, like you said, okay, we are lucky enough that our kids have two smartphone or tablets or laptop or computer to attend all these online classes. But think about the 60 and 70% of the children which don't have access to all these luxuries. So it's easier to say we can always defer this thing and wait for that ideal time, but that ideal time is not going to come for next 2 years. So I think we have to take baby steps. We have to start gradually, and I think we should not be wasting time. We have to start.
What really is an ideal time, Dr. Chugh? You say maybe wait 2 to 3 more weeks, maybe 4 weeks, but then it will be mid of December. Then some people will say, oh, it's Christmas and New Year time. And again, people mingle. There are these parties which happen. Children also meet their family members. Perhaps let's delay a little more, and then it becomes next year. What would you say to those who may offer discounter to your argument?
As Dr. Neeraj said, there is no ideal time that we can predict. We are just looking at what appears to be very obvious. The obvious thing is that Diwali kind of festival is far, far bigger, much more involvement, and almost 100% people participating compared to, let's say, Christmas and New Year, where maybe 10% of the English-speaking kind of people will be participating. The two are very different from each other. The impact of New Year parties compared to the Diwali family get-togethers is very, very different. Bhai Dooj, their brothers and sisters are going to meet each other no matter what. So I think the two are different. So once these 3 weeks are over, that to my mind still remains as the best option that we have. Yes, nothing is predictable about this virus. We are not sure how it is going to behave, whether another mutation will come or not. But from what we have now and what we are seeing across the world, it appears, yes, we are near that time where schools should open, as of course in a graded manner.
Right. And, Dr. Gulati, now we already have FDA, which has approved Pfizer. We have Covaxin, which has gotten initial approval of the drug authority. It's still, of course, awaited a final nod, sir. What will you say, sir? At least as far as comorbid children are concerned, at least for them, would you agree that vaccination should be started at the earliest?
You see, it's not me agreeing with this or not. There is a process. I mean, whenever a new vaccine is invented or it's launched, then there is a process. We go in a very scientific, systematic manner. And the most vulnerable were the elderly. They were taken care of first, then the healthcare workers and all that thing. So I think it is a scientific decision. It's based on facts, and children are very precious. I mean, they all the trials that take place, children are excluded initially, unless until the disease is children specific. So I think we leave it to the experts who deal with vaccines but certainly we are quite encouraged by the results of all the vaccines, and they are all good. And children, I hope, will be able to tolerate it equally well.
Right. No, I asked you in the context of the subject expert committee approving Covaxin, but of course the DGCI note is still awaited. And yes, we have from the drug authority, it may take a few months even for comorbid children, and that is what's adding to the worries. And Dr. Nischal, when we speak of the most vulnerable, as Dr. Gulati also said, are the elderly. Now the fear is also that children may be able to better tolerate the virus. But in case, if at all there is an uptick owing to the festive season in the number of cases, children could become silent carriers. Is that a real fear, sir?
So that will always be a fear, because the biggest problem with this particular infection is that majority of them will remain asymptomatic, and they may actually transmit this virus without even knowing. And that's why right from the start, we have been talking about the social vaccination aspect, that is always follow this COVID appropriate behavior. And that is what we have to keep on reinforcing our children, because if they want to go to school, they have to follow this COVID appropriate behavior. And going by my experience, of course, my children listen better to their teachers rather than listening to me. So I'm certain, especially the younger children, they are going to.
I thought you were a doctor, they listen to you rather. I thought you were a doctor, they'd rather listen to you when you talk to them about wearing masks and social distancing, etc.
No, they'll listen to their teacher, and whatever they say, they follow that. I'm sure these young children, especially the class 3, 4, and relatively younger one, they are going to listen to their teacher because they are bored staying at home. And of course, we have to take care of them. Of course, they are the most precious thing we are working for, actually.
Right.
So I think we have to take care of them.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. And that really is the focus of this debate as well, sir. And Dr. Chugh, so when we are speaking about children in relation to COVID, right now, practically on-ground reality is that COVID is not really one of the biggest factors which one is scared about, considering, fortunately, to the number of cases which are declining steadily. Many experts, of course, also saying that a third wave may not come at all. Right now, would you say actually a bigger menace could be dengue, the rising level of pollution owing to Diwali, etc., and perhaps parents maybe need not worry that much about COVID?
Yes, certainly. Dengue is what is going around. Let's say at least I'm in touch with my colleagues all across the country, and almost all parts of the country are saying that deluge of patients. probably in Delhi and around, it's coming down a little bit, but in the rest of the country, it's far worse. And as far as pollution is concerned, yes, we know that the Krali and this and that and the traffic and the fireworks and all those things are going to add up, and the next few weeks are going to be really, really bad for children's lungs as well as maybe rest of the body. We know that pollution affects even, for example, even the brain and not just the lungs. So we are in for a difficult period here. Let's hope that parents as well as the government agencies will be able to take enough precautions to keep our children healthy.
Right. And Dr. Gulati, what would be your advice to those perhaps who are watching the show, anxious parents who are yet to take a decision on whether they should send their wards to schools or not, considering at least many private schools have also, they are also playing quite safe and cautious. And many schools in Delhi, at least I'm aware of, I don't know pan India, but Delhi, they have not opened. They're waiting for Diwali and this festive season to get over.
So while we are very sure that the numbers have come down and it's safer than what it was in the previous few months, and Dr. Nischal has made very clear there's no ideal time, I think it's the mental state of a parent which needs to be addressed. I think they need to be counseled. I think finally you have to send your children to school. And suppose it's unsafe, doctors, authorities, nobody would have advised, schools would shut down. So I think we all love our children and we are taking the decision in their best interest. But I think each parent has a different level of fear. So I think that is what is going to decide. And now it's a hybrid model. Either you come to the school or you take online. So I think this gives very, very anxious parents some time to watch how the things go when the schools open after a week or 2 weeks or 1 month. I think finally, if everything goes on right, all children will finally happily go to school.
Right. And Dr. Nischal, I'm sure you agree with it because that's the idea you've been endorsing throughout the show also. End of the day, one can't keep their children indoors forever. Even if parents who are apprehensive of sending their children to school, they cannot stop their children from going at least out and playing outdoors, at least for a few minutes, if not an hour a day or so.
So again, that's what I said, it's really difficult to keep our children at home for their development as well. And so that's why we have to take a call, and hybrid mode is the best way forward for the time being. And it has to be participation of both parents and teachers. It has to be like I said, if somebody is sick at house, please do not send your children because that could be a risk for others as well.
Yeah.
So if everybody participate, follow all the laid down norms by the school, because each school is laying down their own norms so that the chances of this infection spreading in their school minimizes, or children carrying infection back to their family minimizes. So if we keep on following all those rules, I think we can safely open our school. But at the same time, we have to keep a watch, slightest sign of increase in cases, and we should not hesitate in shutting down our schools again.
All right. Last word to you, Dr. Chugh. You were the one who propagated this idea that maybe perhaps, schools have opened a little too early. We know even theaters are opening at full capacity, 200 plus people, of course, allowed. At weddings also now, as far as at least Delhi government was concerned, with all the gatherings, with all, of course, the regulations coming down, there is a fear of cases going up. Would you advise parents to wait it out this festive season? Or perhaps would you tell them to send their children to schools and follow social distancing norms, etc., as Dr. Gulati and Dr. Nischal have endorsed?
Well, I would again say that 3 more weeks is going to, it's important that we send them early, but 3 more weeks is not going to make a very, very big difference, considering that they've been at home for almost 2 years now. And when it comes to not only schools, when it comes to other places like the cinema halls and all, I would again advise children at least should not be going to these places also for next 3 weeks. Wait.
All right, wait and watch policy for next 3 weeks. That is the view coming from one of the experts. Of course, as far as a cohesive and a concluding view really from all our experts is concerned, it does look like that the time, there can never be an ideal time. Perhaps the time is ripe. you can't keep your children indoors forever. Follow social distancing norms. Vaccination will come as and when it does. But for now, of course, it's most important that the adult population gets vaccinated. So if you haven't gotten your second dose, go ahead, get your second dose. Make sure your children, those who go to school, follow all social distancing norms. I hope the show has been as informating and riveting as it has been for me. It has equally been interesting and informating for our viewers. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you all for participating, sir.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.